We should just introduce ourselves.
Alright, well...
And my name is Robert J. Meddings from Mortalhellion Productions. This is Zachariah Wilson, and this is Ox.
How you doing? We're getting ready to watch The Spirit, a 2008 film written and directed. Yes, a double threat from Frank Miller. And we have our libations ready for preparations. Most of the pills have been put away. Most sharp objects. So we're going to see how it goes, and we're going to watch the movie, and we'll be right back. So apparently the octopus has powers similar to the spirit.
Right, exactly.
But that's never explained.
Yeah, when the spirit is supposed to be a very unique, unliving creature. Yeah.
And, you know, again, even Sin City didn't do this.
Right.
That's the weird thing.
Well, it was what you would call overkill.
Yeah.
Well, this is beyond. This is like overkill squared. That's how bad this overkill is. It's like we're dropping a nuclear bomb, and then we're just going to drop one on top of that.
Just for the hell of it, right?
Yeah. We're just going to drop another one.
There we go.
So, alright, no, are you really... Alright, so he blocks a toilet on him?
Yeah, I thought it was a kitchen sink, but I was wrong.
No, the sink comes, I think, in a minute.
Oh, yeah, see, so that just proves it that even Frank Miller is going...
Even Frank Miller is using shit metaphors in his own movie.
Yeah.
Toilets are always fun. Again, right there, he's projecting like, oh, look! See, that's a joke. Why aren't you laughing? And you might as well be talking to the audience. What's wrong with you guys?
Right, yeah.
I mean, isn't this funny when Judd Apatow doesn't do this? Because, yeah, there we go. There's the sink.
There's the
kitchen sink.
Right.
Literal, ha ha ha.
Yep.
Why doesn't someone say about it? I threw everything and the kitchen sink at him.
Right.
Why don't they use that?
Yeah.
So the gun, several bullets.
So the film is really as a test of our endurance.
Really, this is for the mud. Right there, this is for the mud wrestling fans.
Well, if that were true, then
people who said
no. If it was for the mud wrestling fans, then it wouldn't be the spirit and the octopus.
No. I mean the people who are fans of the mud wrestling scene in Stripes.
Oh yeah.
And if you like seeing John Candy, well, these two, if you add up their weights, they're about the weight John Candy was in Stripes.
So he's fighting himself.
They're also covered in mud. Yes, it's like the scene in It's like the scene in Superman 3.
There you go.
Oh, Robin, Frank Miller, like the bird.
Yeah.
Sidekick. Oh, thank you, Frank Miller. Yes, remind us you wrote All-Star Batman and Robin.
Okay, here we
Fuck
go.
you. And now, oh look, she's sitting on the copier for no reason. Nothing.
No, for no reason.
Hey, I am making a copy of my ass.
Exactly.
Because that will make you take me seriously.
Right.
This is
okay.
This is a complete.
And now. Oh, you a funny guy, Frank. Thank you.
This movie blows.
Now, I will admit, I felt very embarrassed that I rented this in the first place. By the way.
You should be.
And this it cost me 50 cents.
So am I. Oh, what do you think about the movie?
What?
Where's Ox?
Oh shit! Get him! Oh shit! Kirby! No! It's okay! It's okay!
No! Don't make me talk about it! I didn't watch it! Don't talk about it! God damn it!
Take the scarf before he hangs himself. We gotta do it. Yeah, quit fucking around. All right. Yeah, take a big swig. Big swig. Big swig.
Oh God.
So just get it out. Get it out. Get it out.
All right.
Get it out. All right now.
So,
the spirit.
okay, good points.
Visually great. Visually great. Although it was a lot of building on Sin City, and there's a lot of bad points to that too.
Let's just stay with the good for now.
Okay,
Mort.
I really don't have many good points.
Oh come on,
there has to be something.
Nothing. None.
Well, let's see. Well, there was the good flashback scene.
Yes, that's true. The flashback sequence with the young Sans Serif and the young Denny Colt spirit it did have more of the flavor, that old New York flavor of Eisner's work.
And even then, there was still a little point of, I'm going to put a knife in your eye. And that was, we're going to make this young girl look like a whore by having her midriff showing.
Exactly. Which wasn't exactly, what strikes you as like, even if this is taking place in modern times,
right.
That's not exactly, I mean, you know, it's a minor, it was kind of like, that actually, okay, also, the credits were nice.
Yeah, credits were nice.
The film was largely in focus. Some of the effects were of interest, although again, it felt like basically holdovers from Sin City. Like they still had some Sin City money left over for effects, and the same people.
It did start out all right too. I thought the credits was pretty.
Yeah,
good.
but
it had a nice look
visually,
to it.
again,
there's a nice look to it, but pretty much okay.
And of course, Eva Mendes's ass. I mean,
that wasn't. Well, that's not really a point. That's more of a very rounded. More of a rounded with a.
But it's a good part of the film. No, sorry.
It's an excellent part of the film. It's an excellent, if the movie had been in 3D, that would have been the best moment of the film for me.
Luckily, before 3D was
before 3D came back into vogue. I guess that's a fortunate thing. Someone else start me on the bad points.
Okay. I think we should go. I think we should do a round table of the bad points. Now, I'm going to start off with the most glaring, in my view, problem with this film. Was Alright, now, Frank Miller is trying to deliberately make an homage to one of his supposed inspirations for his entire comic creative direction. Of Will Eisner.
They were supposedly friends.
Okay, fair enough.
And an inspiration. He said so in some of the promotional stuff.
Yeah.
My question
was...
Wait.
Go ahead.
Let
me finish. That's all right. If that's true, then why just flat out the dialogue is not anywhere close to the way Will Eisner ever wrote any of the Spirit, and it's so much more Sin City. Why is it so much like it's going to be my version of if I was Will Eisner 40, 50 years ago, as opposed to actually trying to make a Spirit movie?
It really does feel like Sin City 2. It really does.
You can go back and you can watch noir pictures from the same period when Eisner was doing the original Spirit in the 40s, and you will not find dialogue. I mean, you will not find dialogue that is this like deliberately parodic noir, but it was dialogue of the time.
Right.
I mean, it's just sort of like, he doesn't seem to have much use for, and the thing about the dialogue too is that well, in both the dialogue and in the Spirit's voiceovers. Now, Mort, I understand that you've read a lot more of the Spirit stuff. Was there a lot of the sort of text box where the Spirit's talking to himself?
No.
In this, he's doing it.
Very little narration.
He's doing it constantly, and then he says, then he's like, and it's all very Sin City.
Yeah, very much so.
Because but then at one point he says, but then at a couple of points, it seems like Miller's dialogue, and actually let's just consider all spoken stuff in the movie, the voiceovers, whatever, never say anything once when you can say it three times.
I was going to point that out. Repetition.
It's like his later comics, as a matter of fact. Like, I just have to keep repeating stuff. And the thing is, it's, if you do it once in a while, it's got resonance. If you do it constly, it loses its effect. Correct. It's like constant explosions in a movie. After a while, you're like,
it was that heavy reliance to violence that we don't see in the strip comic books.
The heavy reliance. Well, no. Here's the thing, though, is that.
But that, to me, that feels a lot more like Sin City again.
Okay.
The violence feels Sin City-ish.
Yeah. Okay.
Not Spirit.
Right.
I mean, not there wasn't violence in there, but it was.
But there was more like physical.
It felt like more of a swashbuckling kind of violence in the Spirit.
Exactly.
Like guys are, it's fists and guns and everything, but on some level, the Spirit is sufficiently competent that, like, people aren't here. By the end of the movie, they're pulling out crazy amounts of guns.
Right. Yeah.
Crazy amounts.
Again. That I'm going to. I'm going to use the same characters that was created by my inspiration, but then I'm going to meld it with what I'm known for, which is we'll get into the Batman shit, but also Sin City, over and over and over again.
Also, here's a question. The question of... I'm trying to think of the phrase for it. I mean, the question of tone? The tone of the film. I mean, one of the good things I forgot to mention was this guy, Louis Lombardi, who plays like basically this egghead clone who is stupid, and he's just basically cannon fodder or whatever. Yeah. He's also comedy relief in the film. And the funny thing is, I don't know if it's just the rest of the film just being so terribly unfunny or unentertaining, but he's actually kind of funny to the point where you are laughing at him just because it's like, he is acting, he's great, and it's like he's in a different movie.
That's almost like a pleasant surprise.
It's like you're just grasping, it's like basically, you could argue that it's like the dandelion in the desert. If you've been walking in the desert for 3 days, the first dandelion you see is going to be the most beautiful rose ever.
Right, exactly. And the actor's job in this particular role was fantastic compared to everything else.
He looked like he was just, like he just said, I'm going to have fun with this. Like he just said, I'm going to act like I'm in a different movie.
And oddly enough, I'd have to say that Samuel L. Jackson also was in that mindset of, I'm just going to have a good time with this because you know what? Because this is not anywhere near to the original character of the octopus at all.
Yeah, so, if he's even read the stuff, I'd be,
Right, I imagine he has. I'd hope so anyway.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'm just going to have a fun time being the villain.
Yeah.
And not just any kind of villain, but like a Frank Miller villain, which is always going to be over the top and just hammy and excessive. Pure
yeah,
excessive.
Again, like
that really kind of backfires on screen too. And if you,
it seems like Jackson. Like see, some actor you don't know that well, and he's just kind of doing this soft playfulness thing. When Jackson has fun, he has fun hard, just like he does everything else. Samuel Jackson. And that's the problem.
Yeah.
That's maybe the problem, is that it feels like he's having too much fun, and he doesn't really care if we do. Whereas, like, that Louis Lombardi guy, it's like, he seems to be like, hey, everybody, like he's almost like talking to us in the audience, like, hey, everybody, I have no idea what's going on either.
Yeah, so I'm going to fuck around.
And that brings us to the next point, the plot.
Okay. Now, yeah, so the plot, first of all...
So what was the plot now?
Deals with... Oh, Christ.
I got a question for you. Should the ghost of Will Eisner come back and just throttle Frank Miller for doing this?
If he hasn't by now, he's not going to.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's true. You have to look at that.
I mean, I think, let's face it, Eisner was old when he's died, and Eisner probably just went... and just went back to whatever it is you do in the afterlife.
Right. Yeah.
I think he probably, if he's kept track of Miller's work as a comic book artist, and writer,
creator,
then he certainly probably figured, I don't think he's going to do such a good job.
Right. And speaking of that,
and that's too bad because we had an opportunity to do good. For a little while.
Yeah,
correct.
And that was, okay, but you were saying.
No, I was okay. With again, the idea of homaging to Will Eisner is 100%. No, I wouldn't say 100%. I'll take that back. There is a high percentage, 60-75%, modern dialogue. The dialogue is obviously written in a speech pattern, in a way of trying to make you feel like, oh, I can understand what they're talking about, even though the people that spoke in the 40s, their slang was completely different.
But you could understand, that's the weird thing, when I talk about those movies from the 40s, you could understand what they were getting to soon enough.
Exactly.
I mean,
but in this case,
he makes it sound like he's, the entire movie somehow assumes that, again, we need to be told everything 3 times.
Right.
And yet it still somehow doesn't make a lot of sense.
Correct. Yeah.
It's like it's definitely redundant.
And we never really find out when we finally get to an explanation for why the spirit is
the way
he is, and it takes us a long time for them to even get to know it's what the spirit is. I mean, they never give really a full accounting of the spirit.
Well, no. That they do in the fact that the octopus whoever he was at the time, as a mortician, created him using some, honestly, Lovecraftian-style reanimator type of serum to become semi-immortal, to heal all wounds and do all that kind of crap.
Yeah.
You know, there is that. They do explain.
They do explain it, but it feels like they don't really
they just gloss over it. You know, which considering the film, that is not the point of the film, unfortunately.
No.
You know,
The point of the film is to have these two guys be like brothers because of their similar. Because hey, it worked for the spirit. I'm going to try it too.
Right.
I'm going to try it too, and I'm also going to say eggs 10 times for no reason because I'm an octopus and octopi hate eggs. Apparently. Damn.
Here's another thing that Frank Miller ignores: the original sources was seeing Dr. Octopus's face right away in the film.
Yeah. Now he said
in the
something
comic strips, you never see his face; you only see his gloves.
Yeah,
or
you
even
see
part of his arm.
You see shadows at best. And the thing is, I can understand how that would be difficult to do in a movie, but
no, it wouldn't have been. No, it wasn't.
It was done in the James Bond movies.
I was going to say it wouldn't have
Blofeld.
It would not have been difficult if it had been written and directed by anybody else.
Well, almost anybody else.
Okay, fair enough.
But
if you had someone who actually had a little bit, I don't know, class,
respect for the material, respect for the source material,
understands, respects the source material.
Then it could have been easily done as quote as purely.
And you could just have, and again, you could just have Spirit facing off against the octopus's henchmen,
right?
Like other people. But then he chose to make the henchman in this as funny again as Louis Lombardi is. He's really like it's pretty clear that he's an ineffective henchman.
Correct.
Then okay. And actually, when we go to the henchmen, that brings us where we've been talking about the men. Now we have to talk about the horse. Women. Sorry, Frank Miller.
Yeah, not horse.
I'm sorry. Frank Miller just took me over for a second,
it's a
and I started talking about horse. Women. Now, my understanding. Would you say now you know better than us about Eisner and. Yeah. Now, the heroines, or the anti-heroines, the women in general, in the Spirit, were kind of like femmes fatales, weren't they? They were seductresses. They were often on the wrong side of Spirit's moral code.
Correct.
Yeah. They were sexy characters, but they were also classy, and that's something that did not translate.
No, I mean, you've got Sans Serif, played by Eva Mendes, again, putting her wonderful ass onto a copy machine and making a copy of it, but it's like
speaking of modern technology.
Speaking of modern technology, we mentioned that,
Moving on.
But the copy, but it's like that doesn't seem. It becomes the funny thing is that the copy actually becomes a plot point, which is the thing that bothers me a little bit.
Yeah,
I mean, never mind. We'll skip the logic.
Will Eisner also wrote his women characters intelligently. I mean,
they weren't. Yeah, they seem. You know, the thing is that you have the Silken Floss character played by Scarlett Johansson in this case, and the woman and the actress herself seems to be a reasonably intelligent woman.
Yes, I would agree with that.
But the way that's played in here, I mean, according to the book, she's like a nuclear physicist. She's a smart. You don't have dumb cookies here. It might as well be The World Is Not Enough with fucking Denise Richards being Christmas Jones playing a nuclear physicist. I mean, where you're just sort of like, no, there's no way she wouldn't even be allowed near a nuclear facility. And I would say that Scarlett Johansson, because she's not Denise Richards, can play it smarter, but you're still kind of like, I really.
This is the script I've been given. Thank you, Frank. Now we have to do what we can do with it.
And she actually, I mean, and for the most part...
You can imagine what the people thought when they read through that.
Correct.
Well, apparently they agreed. They still agreed to do it, which means, something...
And we have to talk about that a little bit with the simple fact of Will Eisner's The Spirit being no overly thinking inner thoughts or dialogue boxes. The simple fact of overacting everything to explain what is going on.
What do you mean?
Yeah,
going over the top.
Yeah, way over the top. It's like every actor.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like every actor watched William Shatner very early on and had to realize we need to overact everything.
Yeah, but like Shatner would have actually been a relief in this.
No, I agree.
Shatner, if he had actually come on and said, "But Spirit, why?" If he had done that, that would have actually been like the second best pleasure to Louis Lombardi's "I'm stupid." You know?
Shatner should have played the detective. That what's his name?
Yeah, exactly. This is the thing. Perfectly good actors, people you have seen be good in other movies, who really here are constantly
not reined in,
and it doesn't help that again. And then when they have the repetition, then you're just reminded. Oh yeah, it's that line was shitty the first time, and the delivery shitty the first time. Now you've said it 3 times.
Right.
Like imagine if if something was in if something you recognized had been buried in a swamp for 20 years, and then when it emerges, you can make out bits and pieces of it, but you don't really see the whole. So it's like that's basically it. He takes the spirit. Frank Miller takes the spirit. He takes Will Eisner's character. He takes the oeuvre of Eisner,
puts it to a blender,
puts it into a swamp. And then it just gets all mangled and decomposed. And you see elements. So it's like you can see the hat poking up. You can see the guy's general love of women poking up. It's just that everything gets twisted by the decomposition. The acid eats it away. And it's so that's how you turn, say, he's really besotted by women into, I'm a man whore.
Right, exactly, yeah.
And Frank Miller did say in his interview that he is trying to do good for Will Eisner, and you can clearly see he has not.
He has not at all.
Well, it has to be said that Miller in the last 10 years or so, there is the possibility of
he's gone nuts.
Delusion.
Yeah, extremely.
At the very least,
buying into his own legend.
It's sort of that's the thing. It's almost like he thinks, and I'm sure they buttered the hell out of it. I mean, let's face it. In some retrospect, I do like the Sin City movie.
Oh, yeah.
And I understand there's a second one in development, and I'm looking kind of forward to it.
Yeah, it's been in development hell for 5 years now.
But it has to be said that maybe being on the set with Quentin Tarantino, because he directed one segment, and Robert Rodriguez telling him, "Oh, you're great, Frank, and we're going to do it just like you did it," is almost, maybe you were buttering up a little bit too much, and suddenly, like, you're a genius. And in some ways, it's like at this point, Alan Moore's removal from the film industry, it almost doesn't seem snobbish anymore. Maybe on some level, even though he'd never admit it because he is kind of a snob, he would be able to say, one reason is because I don't want to get like that. I don't want to. He is a snob, but he wouldn't. But
in a very different way.
But being told that he was an awesome genius all the time would probably fatally compromise his moral, his artistic compass.
Yeah, and the problem is, and honestly, right now he's at the filming of this video. There's a series that he's doing called Fashion Beast. It is, I have no idea what the fuck is going on. It's only 5 or 6 issues out right now. I've been trying to follow it. I'm trying to understand what's going on. And much like Alan Moore, for better or for worse, I'm only going to understand this series when it's done. And he's done this multiple times. Watchmen, he's done it over and over again. V for Vendetta, he's done it for...
From Hell, definitely.
From Hell.
From Hell was definitely like, it wasn't, I mean, really, there were so many pieces.
Yeah, while you're reading it, you're going, okay, I'm just watching for blood and boobies. And I'm trying to hope that I'm gleaning...
Strange enough how I felt about Sin City.
I'm trying to glean something more. And then when you finally get to the end, you're like, oh,
it all comes together. And the thing is that the difference, and this is where we should probably wrap up, the difference is Miller gives you the illusion almost like he's doing that nowadays.
Right.
And at the end, it's still, he's just basically tossed a jigsaw puzzle in the air, thrown in a few random pieces, taken a few away, and at the end, he hasn't bothered to assemble anywhere near like 50% of the whole. So you're just staring at it and saying, okay, I've wasted 6 months waiting for this stuff. Right. I've waited this much time.
It looks...
Frank Miller really is living in his own bubble of bullshit. He really thinks he is making something.
Yeah, the assumption, and that's a fatal problem for any creator, especially if you're really in the commercial arena, is suddenly to think that you crap diamonds.
Right. And unfortunately, this is a weird cyclic notion of the old, weirdly enough, the 1940s and 50s of I'm a star, I can do whatever I want, whatever I do is fucking golden.
Yeah, and it's like now,
and it's weird it's coming back around.
I mean, nowadays you've got people who aren't stars at all who are still acting like that.
Right.
I mean, seriously, Kim Kardashian, Snooki. I mean,
yeah, what the fuck
these
is
are people
that
who
shit?
are arguing. These are people who are arguing the same thing.
Yeah.
And this movie, in some ways, is like, hey, you know what? I'm Frank Miller. I did some good stuff, and so this must be good stuff too. And it's like, well, you know what? Every artist creates something and puts it out there that sucks.
Yeah, sure.
And it happens even to artists who, let's face it, have better track records than Miller does.
So, to wrap it all up, wow.
It's a mess.
It's a total mess. When you expect, honestly, in his early career, a genius Frank Miller, homaging to his supposed inspiration of Will Eisner, you think, wow, this is going to be great. But it is not. It feels like that scene in Caligula where McDowell goes in and he's like, "Oh, I have married you. Now I get to de-virgin both of you." And he fist fucks the husband in a tub of lard, but in this case, there's no tub of lard. And you're like, "Oh, wow."
And you are the one getting fist fucked.
Exactly.
Watching the movie.
Right.
Frank Miller.
Right in the eye.
Frank Miller is fist fucking you in the eye.
With no lard.
With no lard.
So,
and no real affection either.
No affection at all.
No respect for Will Eisner and no respect for
us. I mean,
correct.
What it makes you wonder if.
Now, please don't.
And to wrap up, I would say this: if you are familiar with Will Eisner's work on the Spirit, or indeed his work in general, I would, if you want to let us know, do you think maybe Eisner said something to Miller before he died, where Miller thought, "I'm gonna get that motherfucker."
Right, yeah, exactly.
This is like, it's almost his revenge.
Yeah, right.
About something.
Right.
Because Will Eisner, let's face it, Will Eisner was still doing excellent work right up until he died.
Right, exactly.
Whereas, it doesn't look like that's going to happen.
Right, exactly, yeah. Now, if you've watched this whole video, I'm not normally that screwed, but I had to say that, I'm sorry. Now, so...
Don't be sorry, that's fine.
Yeah, anyway, I'm gonna go back to the bathroom. I'm gonna find something else.
Alright, so, thank you for watching. Wait, sit down. No. So, thank you for watching. Please comment.
If you like it, yeah.
Please comment.
We'll do it next time, although I may not be here for obvious reasons.
You may be dead, yes.
Yeah, I might be dead.
But we do have a long list of movies that have great source material, that have been
disasters.
horrendously train wreck disasters through micromanagement, through committee, through bad directors, through bad writing.
On all levels, yeah.
On all levels. So please comment, and thanks for watching. And again, this is
Robert J. Meddings.
I'm Zach Wilson.
I'm the Ox.
Take care.
Peace.
It'd be a very special birthday today for Tom Baker, who's turning 79 today. So,
cheers! Tom Baker,
Doctor Who number 4.
You are the
Happy
man.
birthday.
We miss you.
We're
good to see you.
Rum it up.
Yeah, rum it up.
that he will.